วิจารณ์ว่าโรงเชียใจต่ออีจงใช้เสนอเจอเนี่ยดูกติว่าจึงต้าต่อที่เราใช้เตรียมลงเจ้ากุเกท่าเนี่ยจะโรนอยังได้รู้เจ้าตัวท่าเนี่ยจะโรนอมุดลินดาการนอถ้าท่านเดกุติเรามุทัดซอยยีลังช่องเนี่ยจะรุ่งจงวอร์ซอเซนวิสคอนซินจึงต้าต่อละมุนเทียกิไซจาก็แย่งเราไว้ตัวสเตย์เซมปลีเนี่ยดูเซนวิสคอนซินส่วนเดกุติเรามุทัดซอยังตรงตัวไปเซมิกาเนี่ยดูที่อเมริกาก็ชอบชีอีจะชวนชวนขันยาต่อการในกุฏิเราหมดทัดชอบเซมินิสตามัวเฟิงเราว่าเธอรู้สึกยังโดยที่อเมริกาเราไม่เนี่ยรีพูดได้โดยจะไปแซงส่วนในกุฏิเราหมดทัดชอบที่อิสราเอลตัวเชตเตอร์ในจะตุ้จ่อตอนเดชวดเชิงกาซาตัวยาคาเตล่าต่อการในกุฏิเราหมดทัดชอบจะแซงยังโดยที่อเมริกาว่าเป็นอเมริกันบ้านมึงจีจงชับเลยยังโดยช่องเช่นกับเราต่อการในกุฏิเราหมดทัดชอบจะแซงยังโดยที่อเมริกาผมว่าจะที่หนึ่งเชิงเกจันตุจงชับเลยเทียกันเดกุที่เราหมดทัดจอจะได้เฉยยอดท้องประตูรุ่นเตนอผมหมดที่นั่งตัวเกชิถึงจงชับละจะเลี้ยงยอดจุดหลักขนาดกุยที่เราหมดทัดจอจังเกลุนอชินจิด้วยเปล่าโรงเชียใจต่ออีจงใช้เสนอที่ตะการเราใช้เจ้ากุเกท่ายอดจุดในชั่วโมงเดนอยีเล่งช่องเนี่ยตรงวอร์ซอเซนวิสคอนซินจึงต้าต่อละมุนเทียกิไซจาก็แย่งเราวิตัวสเตย์เซมบลีเนี่ยตัวเซนวิสคอนซินส่วนในน้องมุกุจะเป็นมือใช้เจ้าของวิดีโอว่ายีเล่งช่องตัวจีติเชียตัวชาติตัวเจ้าของในละมุนเทียกิไซจาก็แย่งเราวิตัวสเตย์เซมบลีเนี่ยตัวเซนวิสคอนซินชาติตัวจะเนี่ยจีกิตินิจาเทียจะพุ่งยืดเดือดตัวโป๊ะจ้อเดียขอวิดีโอไปอยู่ปอดตอนเดนอย่อไฮโลอเมริกาซื้อตอนเดนไปชั่วโมงบ้าอยู่มุกเกชิทานโดยยีเล่งช่องไฮโลอลูมงเจ้าตัวปูโดยจะเนี่ยจีกตินจาที่จะพุ่งยืดเกิดสุดตัวโป๊ะจ้อความเมื่อไอเดียวิฟิลิจายีเล่งช่องอาเจซิเชียเราหมุนเทียกิไซจาก็ยังเราไว้ตัวสเตย์เซมบลีเนี่ยโดเซนวิสคอนซินจะลิจนสินากุจะเป็นมาใช้จ้อของวิดีโอนอง
My name is Leej, and I stand before you as a proud American, a proud Wisconsinite, and a proud child of refugees. My story and journey are not just my own. They echo the stories of countless Americans and Wisconsinites whose lives are woven with the very fabric of our nation's founding principles. My story began long before my birth in 1994. Fleeing war-torn Laos and the specter of persecution due to the Hmong's involvement in the military conflicts in Southeast Asia, my parents embarked on a journey to the United States in search of a better life, in search of the American dream. With nothing but the clothes on their backs, my parents, along with my grandparents, my cousins, my older brother, and fellow villagers, made their way through the jungle of Laos to reach Thailand. The sacrifices were great. They had to give up everything they knew. We lost family members along the way, and the horrors that they had to face remain unspoken to this day. But whatever was thrown at them, their determination was unwavering. Starting from humble beginnings, my family's first source of income was gathering worms at Marathon County Park to sell for a few dollars. Eventually, through hard work and determination, my parents found jobs in a meat processing factory in Iowa, where they moved to for a few years. But because my parents fell in love with central Wisconsin, they decided to move back to make this place their home. My father worked on a ginseng farm. My mom worked in a factory doing what she knew best, which was sewing. Eventually, 10 days before I was born, my father left his job at the ginseng farm and came to work at a factory in Merrill, where he joined the local union. I was born in Wausau and raised in Weston. We knew that our family wasn't rich. We knew what it felt like to live paycheck to paycheck and to be frugal to ensure we made ends meet. We would pour water into our detergent and shampoo to make sure they lasted longer. We ate rice with water, and we celebrated special occasions by going out to our local fast food chains. And if we were good, we would go to our local Chinese buffet. I graduated from DC Average School District in 2012 and attended the University of Wisconsin Marathon County. However, financial constraints forced me to leave college and support my family by working various service-oriented roles. From a local grocery store to a nonprofit providing services to elders and individuals with disabilities, to a nonprofit serving victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, and eventually to my role now as an executive at a nonprofit that provides services to Southeast Asian individuals. There at my employer, with the financial frugal mentality that I was taught when I was younger, I spent years working to build and bring back a nonprofit that was on the verge of closure to where it is now with a budget of over $1 million. In addition to bringing the nonprofit back from the depths of bankruptcy, I led it to secure and bring in millions of dollars in economic impact to our community, supporting local businesses and causing our tourism economy to bloom. Service has always been the core of my being, whether mentoring youth, supporting elders, or advocating for the voiceless. I have strived to make a positive impact on the lives of others. Through my mentorship, I have mentored dozens of youth, many who are now in the public sector as members of the armed forces, such as the Marines, National Guard, and some even became members of law enforcement. I've instilled in them the importance of service. Just like what I taught my youth, I too am committed to serving. My commitment to serving and community welfare led me to being elected to the DC Everett School District in 2014. There I championed students' rights, fought for competitive pay for our teachers and support staff, and ensured top-tier education while keeping taxes low. In 2016, I extended my impact by securing a position to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors, advocating for local businesses, the University of Wisconsin system, and enhancing county recruitment efforts. Through my various roles on various committees, I work to sustain transportation services for our elderly and individuals with disabilities. I work to enhance social services for elderly and disabled, for our children, and also strengthen mental health services in schools and work to keep families together. I supported ensuring crucial services for our local law enforcement by providing an additional dispatch and voting support of additional dispatch and supporting efforts like the Community Action Response Team or CART to address the challenges of mental health in our community. My dedication to transparency and accountability continued when I was elected to the Village of Weston Board of Trustees in 2018. There I advocated for strong financial responsibility, live streaming of board meetings, and exploring alternative revenue sources to address the financial constraints that our village faced on a daily basis. All this experience has led me here. All my experience has taught me and informed me of the challenges that our community face, what our home will face. We can either confront these challenges individually and fail, or work together and overcome. I have witnessed the incredible power of people uniting for a common cause and the tremendous impact that they have. I vividly remember the first time I encountered the power of people uniting together for a common cause. It was a time when my father worked for it was a time when the company my father worked for was on the verge of cutting jobs, outsourcing operations, and neglecting to increase wages. As a proud union member, my father and countless others stood together and marched in the pouring rain during a strike. Together they stood up for their rights and made a real difference. My father and his union shared a dream of fair wages, job security, and safe working conditions. Through their collective efforts, they turned that dream into a reality. That moment taught me several lessons. It showed me the power of people coming together, and I've learned that we should never be afraid of dreaming too big. Instead, we should fear not doing enough. It is reasonable to aspire for a brighter future for ourselves and future generations. Just like my father and those before who dream of a brighter future, I too envision a better and brighter future. Every night as I drift off to sleep, I envision an incredible 85th district. I dream of an 85th district where the economy is robust, our public schools are funded, our community is the safest, access to justice is guaranteed, our healthcare system is strengthened, and our environment is protected. I dream of an 85th where our local businesses thrive, where we prioritize investing in our most valuable asset, our people, and where we focus on enhancing our local labor force. I dream of an 85th where we address the childcare crisis by fostering collaborations between governments, the private sector, and nonprofits to ensure fair compensation for childcare workers and educators. I dream of an 85th where the childcare industry was profitable and thriving. I dream of an 85th where we resolve the housing crisis through strategic partnerships with developers and local governments to provide sufficient affordable housing for our community's growth. I dream of an 85th where all households, urban and rural, had equitable access to broadband, not solely relying on federal funds, but utilizing our resources effectively to bridge the digital divide in underserved areas like the rural parts of the 85th and Wisconsin. I dream of an 85th where we invest in our infrastructure, support the growth of our local airports, and ensure our roads are well maintained to keep our economy strong. I dream of an 85th where our school district receive adequate funding to address mental health, support students with special needs, and provide resources for academically advanced students. I dream of an 85th where schools are safe havens for learning and no student goes hungry. I dream of an 85th where funding for public safety providers is prioritized, workforce shortages are addressed, and mental health care services are readily available. I dream of an 85th where access to justice is ensured through fully funding critical programs like the Violence Against Women Act and Victims of Crime Act, as well as prioritizing funding for legal aid organizations. I dream of a strong healthcare system where we invest in medical education programs to combat workforce shortage and enhance access to health and mental health care in schools. I dream of an 85th where proactive measures were taken to expand Medicaid, strengthen medical providers, and safeguard against threats to healthcare access in rural communities. I dream of an 85th where we prioritize environmental protections by tackling issues such as lead pipes, PFAS, and other environmental contaminations to prevent further hardships. I dreamed of an 85th where we can all disagree with one another and still love one another because we're neighbors. I dream of an 85th where peace blossoms because we set aside our partisanships and focus on what's best for our community, for our home. Once again, we should never be afraid of dreaming too big. Instead, we should fear not dreaming enough. It is reasonable to aspire to a brighter future for ourselves and future generations. But let me be clear, these are all dreams. Dreams for our communities can only become a reality when we take action and fight for it. One of my favorite stories to tell is a story told by the Irish. The Irish tells of a story of a man who arrives at the gates of heaven and asks to be let in. St. Peter says, "Of course, just show us your scars." The man responds, "I have no scars." St. Peter looks at him and responds, "What a pity. Was there nothing worth fighting for?" I thought about this story a lot throughout the last few years. I reflected on the challenges that our community faced, and I reflected on the dream that I had for our community, for our home. And eventually I asked myself, is this community, my home, worth fighting for? And it is. It is time to take action, and I will no longer wait for good things to happen. I will now work to ensure great things happen. That is why I am proud to announce my candidacy for Assembly District 85 to represent my community and my home. I want to thank Representative Snyder for his years of service. However, I believe that my years of experience and service in local government, including my roles on the school board, village board, county board, and in nonprofit organizations, have not only prepared me for this position, but have also allowed me to remain in touch with the issues facing our community. I have fought tirelessly in the trenches to ensure that our community's best interests were prioritized above politics. With extensive experience and dedication to service, I am confident that I am the best candidate to represent you, Assembly District 85 in Madison. To my fellow neighbors, if you elect me as your representative, I will work tirelessly for all of you with dignity, integrity, and without judgment. This campaign is not about me. It is about each and every single one of you. I cannot do this without you, so I ask for your help and your support. Whether you donate, knock on doors, host a meet and greet, or make a phone call to get out the vote, your help is greatly appreciated. But most importantly, on November 5th, 2024, vote ye for Wisconsin. This is my home, this is our home. It is worth fighting for a brighter future. Let's move Wisconsin forward together. Thank you, everyone.
到差异没两包穿所跟讲要ดูที่อเมริกาและจะรวยอเมริกาหัวเด่นดีเทอร์เจนหัวหูกับไปใส่อเมริกาชอบสี要ดูที่อเมริกาเพราะตัวเต็งแกมโบยอเขาเชิดชีจะชวน所跟讲มูลงไปหัวเด่นไทยต tổ chát tờ nhớ đồ lúc bao liền tụi nó tì xa xong trên ngọc bao nói tiề muốn tổ chát lên đại gì mấy liền bao trôn số khán giờ tổ xa một tờ nhớ đồ tới chả mấy cả có biết xem mấy cả lên tiền vào tàu lợ có số gì thiên ngài thắc mắc một đôi là có chờ của chả biết xem mấy cả vào tàu lòng đỡ vì chả nào ở luôn chả trôn số khán giờ nó mua phần tàu tàu dùng gì còn là mua phần ở đồ chả trôn số khán giờ đến đi ba tàu dùng gì tí à giờ li tôi chả trôn số khán giờ đến đi ba lợ有部分我都在今天我是在传输跟着那么到用意，只是差不多就没有，要得就没有搞到在传输跟着问题办了。有部分我摸到了讲解贴好摸到用意，就传输跟着东国户个被什么个就有到了，所以莫单头就一波到2 million波，我准备这里大家拿xử lý Thai Parts, Game Flings, Ace Parks, Tier Aero Parts， 单头就传输跟着东国户呢。cho chua của xứ cho chôn số khán giả tông của hồ nó tàu sát tàu mua nhau đầu tới chân mấy cả bị lúc chua liền đua xong trên ngọc bê thì lúc all liền đua xong trên ngọc bao nhau trong này cho cứ xử lý Target, Walmart thiên đầu lúc cứ online xử lý Amazon.com nhau đầu tới chân mấy cả Procter thiên game bộ do các chợ chỉ cho chôn số khán giả nó tàu chat tại địa lợi dụng xeอยู่ที่เนี่ยจะกล้าดูจะไปใส่mấy cả ởที่อยู่tàuจะชวนsố khán giả nó là giờ li mua chat tại đối choเนี่ยchỉ cái tin trảที่จะป้องยื้อnhau rồi số lúc sáng nhau rồi tới chả mấy cái cho thiên lương tư họอยู่tàu họ chôn số cái nó là cái này người ta cả một đôi là cái chân nàyอยู่หล่อแต่ก็chân đấy trong xeอยู่ที่เนี่ยจะกล้าตัวเนี่ยgiờ thìเนี่ยชีmình chỉ là cho đi cha sáng Minnesota bây giờ tất thơ lúc sáng nhau rồi tới chả mấy cái ởอยู่muaเนี่ยliผู้ได้ดูเนี่ยจะไปเซ็งเลยอย่ารวยmấy cái hồ tiền basic income rồi lý do sự tàu chat tại nhau rồi lúc lâu liền tụi nó đi xa xong sẽ gặp lâu nói tiền xem Minnesota mua phần giờ tất thơ lúc sinh nhớ đồ tới chợ mấy cả ở mua nhà li bút đâu rồi chợไปxem mấy cả ở mua phần tàu dài chợ nhiên nó trong phía nhớ đồ xem Minnesota chúng ta tàu mua cái shit thà sẽ bỏ bỏ rung lòng mua ít $1 million cho là đồ cổ sẽ lênไปxem mấy cả nhớ đồ xem Minnesota còn lại tàu dài chợ nhiên li bút đâu là một ba đô la trên nên chuẩn đó sau sự tàu chat tận gì thì nhớ đồ trong sample thì trong Minneapolis trong tàu lúc công họ và ba tin nên từ tàu ship mua nhà li bút đâu rồiจะไปเซ็งอุโมงค์ฝั่งตาวใจยอดตรงนี้เอาลงตรงนอปีช่องเส้นหนึ่งของเราละส่วนเดินยอดช่องเส้นหนึ่งของเป้จงฟื้นยอดเซนมินนิโซตาtừ tàu mua rebate check rồi chống trả liền được $1 million lênไปเซ็งยอดเซนมินนิโซตาเทียส่วนเดินจงฟื้นยอดเซนมินนิโซตาtừ tàu là một bỏ rong ít tráiใจlà một ba rồiจะไปเซ็งยอดเซนมินนิโซตาอุโมงค์เมนูมูลเบหัวเดียใช้ tax credit我们中产人的被迫些人只能要到生命所达，对到赚到人的一切下坡去叫多啦，都叫只能我们一人民用要到生命所达了。路之一，每年里不到都被生美加了，要路美加或点被是生康要到得加美加。Thomas Paine 对到被路之一那了，要到路在我找找，要到个找找无论被活的 Revolutionary War era 了，找到上一切就不找找变的。Martin Luther King Jr. 到中国后咁揾 basic income 了，有每年里不到都 basic 要到得加美加，就到上一次就不易做，到一次就不做做到，路之前呢都冇弄好掉 welfare reform 啦，我要一能对要到得加美加，你要做到冇好路，就你真要好路去做事，政府美加嘛每年班子做呢，做的所是到差等这些点，要到生命所大，把政府 Republican 也把去包容。ก็ม้วนเนี่ยรีพูดได้ดูเป็นสิ่งเนี่ยดูเซมินิโซตาอยากจะใจม้วนเนี่ยรีพูดได้แล้วอย่ารวยไม่กล้าหัวเต็มเป็นสิ่งคำปล่อยลงหลังจากจงฟื้นเนี่ยดูเซมินิโซตาแล้วจะเป็นสิ่งไม่กล้าเนี่ยดูเซมินิโซตาหัวม้วนฟื้นต่อใจจะเนี่ยนออีใจหนึ่งตัวหัวม้วนปล้อเลยหนึ่งเนี่ยตัวหัวอีส่งเลยม้วนฟื้นต่อเนี่ยดอกลินดอกจะเป็นเสียจอปัวดอลลาร์ส่วนใดเรื่องเป็นสิ่งเนี่ยดูเซมินิโซตายังม้วนฟื้นต่อใจเนี่ยรีพูดได้ลินดอกชิปดอลลาร์ก่อนดอกลินดอกก็ยิ่งลุเลยgiờ li nhớ cái đồ chơi nó chuẩn chỉ tao bóng mông cho thì nhớ đồ xem Minnesota này trong phủ bồi bỏ rong cho đồ kỳ nó tòn đến năm mới chẳng gì mà lấy chặt tới cho tôi bố đồ ít trong nhiệt gì cái thiên trà thiết chọc bông gì nhớ đồ xem Minnesota tao bố cho cái ở cho này tới chơi Israel tới ba bên Hamas nhớ cái đồ chơi này họ dùng để trả là rồi lý do sự tao chặt tới nhớ đồ bao liền tu nó tí gì xong sẽ gặp bao nói thì tới chơi Israel cho tôi cho tao chặt tới nhớ đồ bao liền tu nó tí xa xong sẽ gặp bao nói thì là tổ chức là cho tôi cho uy hiếp nhau trong đó cho division,但的说起亚古呢，nhau trong sát các tên的说起cái ra là, chuẩn đó tới chơi Israel bắt tôi cho, ít bộ cho division, tiếp bắt tôi cho muốn bày hòa tiề, na home brigade, chỉ có nhon gì trong để số chân cả ra một đôi toàn đề giờ sẽ cho cái tuần chế nhớ trong để số chân nó Lieutenant General Herzi Halavi sẽ chế tới chế Syria tổ chức tại địa tới chế Syria cho tụt cho chỉ có nhớ trong số chân cả ra một gì đôi toàn đề vì là tiền đến nụ chỉ tàu tiền lo nhớ trong số chân nó xử lý là chỉ có tàuกับปั้นหามาจะtụt cho cả ta tới chế Syria cho nên tụt cho chuẩn đã là trận tàu có bê sinh chắc là một nhớ trong là tới vai chế lý cũ thiết chuẩn đã là trận tàu có nhớ trong số chân cả ra nó số một chân hả mà cho tụt cho nhớ gì là chuẩn đã là tàu anh gì tiền nhớ kia trong lúc chân nó xử lý lúc lâu liền tụt nút gì cho chân có lâu tụt cho Israel chân nhớ lý cũ nhớ trong số chân cả ra tới chế Israel to defense minister tàu tại địa tới chế Israel cho tụt cho nhớ trong là cho chuyện division ở tàu chế tới nhớ trong là số chân candidacy vì là tiền đến nụ tàu tiền lo nhớ trong số chân là xử lý là tàu chế tới ban hả mà cho tụt cho cho công tụt cho hoa lư giờ là tiền đến nụ nhớ trong toàn đến đó giờ yếu chế là muốn nhớ trong số chân muốn bề hoa tiền Shifa tia Rafa chuẩn đã so sự tàu tra tận gì tiền còn được tới chế Israel tàu chế tới chế Israel cho tụt trong lý nó giờ mua phần lòng được thợ chữ hưởng Biden tia thợ bùi trà để thợ giả hung cái một cái shit thải giả ta lo giờ lý toàn đến nó sẽ dùng lý trả mà lý tra tới ổn đủ rủ bút được bây giờ được bố cho tiền kêu cho nhớ được tới chế Israel thiết pháp bên Hamas này họ dùng để chặn lý trả cho sinh nhớ được tới chế Mỹ và bây giờ Mỹ ba muốn chi nhớ được số họ trên ngọc long là chống chấp lại này giờ lúc sáng tư rồi lý tổng một cái son chùa là để MMGY Travel Intelligence rồi chống lên bây giờ Mỹ nhớ được tới chế Mỹ idea nhớ được số họ trên ngọc long là này là nhiều muốn chi lúc sáng tư nhớ được tới chế Mỹ cái son chuột nhớ rồi nó bỏ tàu thì bao giờ nhớ được tới chân Mỹ và bây giờ Mỹ ba muốn chỉ chống chấp lại nhớ được số chân ngọc bao giờ nó một tuần liên thắc nó xử lý lúcที่อินเตอร์ยังsang Hawaii lúcที่ออนยังsang Florida lúcที่เป็นยังsang Californiaที่lúcที่baoยังsang Colorado ตัวลิตรตั้งใจnhớ đượcในcái son chuột bao giờให้เราสอนnó một kiến chiều sử dụng của hình nhớ được tới chân Mỹ cho sang nhớ được tới chân Mỹ và một tên nhân trong cái chân tu chống chấp lại này họ giờ lúc sang tư rồi lý tàu từng chế nhớ trong inside the monkey một chế lúc sáng nhớ được tới chân Mỹ một tin nên trong cái trận tu chống chấp là tất cả lúc sáng này sẽ làm ba mà xa cho xa phần buồn để biết sáng nhớ trong lúc sáng làm ba mà non chân to thì cái trận tu giờ có chuyện chứng chấp là rồi lúc này chuẩn đã xa cho gì phần buồn để cái chân nhớ được kỳ protestant lúc sáng thì ở sang Mississippi nhớ được tới chân Mỹ xa cho xa phần buồn để biết sáng Mỹ nhớ được sang Mississippi non chân to thì cái trận tu giờ có chuyện chứng chấp là rồi lúc này thì nhớ trong này lúc sang Mississippi nó xa cho xa phần bùa dân chân cho xa Protestant tí dạng gồ rồi này lúc sang tí bê giờ sang Tennessee xa cho bê phần bùa này bê sang nhớ trong lúc sang Tennessee nó dân chân một đôi xa Protestant tí dạng gồ thế rồi này lúc tí bao giờ lúc sang Louisiana xa cho ý phần bùa này cho bê sang nhớ trong lúc sang Louisiana nó chân to thì cái chân giờ có chuyện chứng chấp là rồi lúc này tí dạng gồ xa cho ý phần buồn để cho biết sinh những trong lúc sinh Louisiana nó tỏi tiề cái chân tu giờ có chuyện chứng chấp là rồi lúc này tí dạng gồ ta chỉ nhớ trong này sau sinh nó chỉ tăng chế để mua biết cho phần buồn chân nhớ trong kỳ tư lúcที่จีgiờ sang Arkansas nhớ trong lúc sang Arkansas nó xa cho phần buồn để biết sinh chân nhớ trong sa Protestant tí dạng gồ thế giờ lý cho nó giờ chi lúc sang nhớ trong tới chân Mỹ cả của mua cho tin năng chân cái chân tu chống chấp là cho tới chờ nhớ thông và cho luôn tê nó của một tên bồ kể xin đến chống chấp là này cho luôn tê chờ từ tia rồi đi tàu từng chế nhớ trong the worldpopulationreview.com tàu bỏ tàu tiền một cổ luôn tê chờ nhớ thông và cho luôn tê nó của một tên bồ kể xin đến chống chấp là cho số luôn tê chờ giờ đi cổ luôn tê chờ này giờ luôn tê tiaวันเด็กคนที่เราหมดท่าส่วนเด็กก็รู้ได้เช่นเรากุศลที่จะการเราหมดท่าส่วนมินจิกับเป็นเช่นเด็กกาเชียจ้อเกี่ยวกับเนี่ยตัวเราก็มั่งไปถึงกาเชียจ้อที่อยู่ในจัตเตียให้ส่วนเด็กที่นั่งชีดังเด็กที่ตัวเด็กจงชาที่ตัวเด็กเชิดชาอย่างแต่เชื่อจ้อเกี่ยวกับเนี่ยที่เราท่าจะเขากินรุ่นดาซื้อเขาจงชาเนี่ยตัวโชว์เขาเชิดชาเนี่ยตัวเขากินรุ่นดาที่อยู่ในจัตซื้ออย่าเลยส่วนสิ่งเราคนที่เราหมดท่าส่วนเด็กก็รู้ได้เช่นองค์มวยจะที่นั่งเปิดเกี่ยวกับเด็กจงชาเลยเนี่ยตัวกินรุ่นดาจนจงอยากกินวันดาสิที่อยากเขาเชี่ยเจ้าเขากติแต่เธอรู้แต่เช้าหัวมอที่นั่งปัวเกชิดังจงชับเลยเนี่ยท้องประดุนเต้นอยากที่จะเธอกี่อีตัวที่นั่งตื้อย้อนตัวในรุ่นนั่งในตอนจอกบลบพ้นชี้เรื่องที่นั่งปัวเกชิดังลิส่วนเดออยากที่จะว่าส่วนเลี้ยอีตัวที่นั่งตื้อย้อนตัวในรุ่นนั่งในตอนจอกบไปพ้นไปเรื่องที่นั่งตัวปัวเกชิดัง จนได้จากนิวซีแลนด์ที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นในตอนจอหรือตัวที่หนึ่งเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกเป้พอนออจอจนได้ยอดตัวที่จากไอซ์แลนด์ที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวที่หนึ่งเปลือกชิดังว่าเกยาโกเป้จอจนได้ยอดที่จากเซาท์แอฟริกาที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวที่หนึ่งเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกออพอนชิจอจนได้ยอดที่จากฟินแลนด์ที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกออพอนเปล่าจอจนได้ยอดที่จากนอร์เวย์ที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกออพอนอีจอส่วนเดียวที่จากอิตาลีที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวหนึ่งเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกอีพอนอีจอส่วนเดียวที่จากสวีเดนที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวที่หนึ่งเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกอีพอนอีจอที่ยาที่ลูกเกนยาที่จากสวิตเซอร์แลนด์ที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นยอดตัวในรุ่นแรกในตอนจอหรือตัวเปลือกเกชิดังยาโกอีพอนอีจอจะเรียกจะน้อยก่อรู้แต่จะยัดท้องเปิดรุ่นเต้นนอโอ้เราจะไปเซ็งต่อเปลือกเกชิดังจงชับเราจะสวยแต่จะยัดท้องเปิดรุ่นเต้นนอจะเรียกยัดตัวแต่จะไม่กาในหอชงลิจ่าเทียจนเรียกเกชอนชัวยัดตัวแต่จะไม่กาอีตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นตามทนในรุ่นแรกในตอนหมุนจอหรือตัวที่หนึ่งเปลือกชิดังย่อก่อมุดก่ออีจอส่วนสิ่งเรากุที่เรามันตัดจอกก่อรู้แต่จะยัดท้องเปิดรุ่นเต้นนอวันละมัวจะที่หนึ่งต่อเปลือกเกชิดังเชิดชับเลยปวดตากุตัดจอจอต่อเปลือกเกจงชับเลยแต่ฉันเอากุฏิเราหมดท่าซอจะต่อเปลือกเกชิดังเชิดชับเลยตัวเธอรู้แต่เชิญในยอดแต่เจอินเดียที่ตัวที่หนึ่งตื่นตามทอนในรุ่นแรงในต่อเปลือกตัวหรือตัวชิดังยอดเปโจส่วนในที่จะชัวต่อเปลือกเปพอนอีโจส่วนในที่จะเวียดนามต่อเปลือกเปพอนออโจส่วนในฮ่องกงต่อเปลือกเปพอนซาโจส่วนในที่จะอินโดนีเซียต่อเปลือกชิปพอนอีโจส่วนในที่จะสโลวาเกียต่อเปลือกชิปพอนโปรโจส่วนเดียวที่จะมาเลเซียต่อปืนชิปพนยีโจส่วนเดียวที่จะเยอรมนีต่อปืนชิปพนยีโจที่ยาส่วนเดียวที่จะโปแลนด์ต่อปืนโจโจที่ลูกเกนยที่จะสเปนต่อปืนโจพนอีโจจะเรียกจะนายกรู้ที่เธอเนี่ยท้องประรุ่นเดเตนอวันละจัดที่หนึ่งต่อปืนเกชิดังเชิดชับเลยเนี่ยท้องประรุ่นเดเตนอจะเรียกว่าจะจังเรียกจะตัวท่าเนี่ยตัวส่วนเราสาวเรียนเอาซื้อกูมัวเราจงเชื่อตัวจนนั้นต่อตัวชั่วเล่นสุดตัวใจเนี่ยตัวเขาตื่นว่าตัวที่เราไม่ใช่เทียมน้องจะกูเกท่าเนี่ยตัวจนน้องตัวก่อนรุ่นดูรุ่นเตะปอคือเพชรชั่วเล่นสุดตัวกับจนเชื่อเกนักขยายจงซื้อกูอยากเรียกว่าหรือว่าเป็นสิ่งที่ดัว